This video covers what happened in 2016 when President Maduro was credited with a key role in OPEC countries agreeing to stabilize crude oil prices. Oil production is very important to the Venezuelan economy, and President Maduro was facing cutbacks in the economy of Venezuela due to lower oil prices, and he set to do something about that. How important are oil exports for Venezuela's economy? Well, 96% of all of the export earnings for the country are due to oil exports. And the foreign currency that the country gains from oil exports are used to buy imports. And the country relied on imports for about 80% of all the food, industrial equipment, consumer goods, including medicines, were all imported. And so oil, you're looking at an oil tanker here. You're looking at the economy of Venezuela, largely, almost totally dependent on oil. And world oil prices declined by about 60% between 2014 and 2016. They were about $100 a barrel in 2014, went down to about $40 a barrel, a decline of about 60%. And the primary factor in that price decline was the large increase in U.S. oil production. We really increased fracking and production of oil from fracking and created an oversupply of oil in the world in comparison to demand. And as a result, the price of oil went down because of that oversupply. And that decline in the world oil price devastated Venezuela's economy. Oil exports declined by $63 billion. And as a result, imports declined by about $50 billion. And there were empty shelves of goods throughout the country. There weren't consumer products for sale. Most of them had been imported. Many stores shut down. There was a total reduction of 16% in the country's overall economy. Payrolls couldn't be met, investments couldn't be made, businesses couldn't run. There simply wasn't goods to be sold or to be worked on. So Maduro turned his attention to OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. And OPEC was formed in 1960. Venezuela was one of the founding members of OPEC. There were 14 member countries in 2016. And the goal of OPEC is pretty straightforward. It's to control oil production, to get the countries to agree to produce certain amounts of oil in order to achieve a higher price for oil. You try to get oil supply and demand in line with each other so that the oil price is higher than if there were an oversupply of oil. So these are the 14 member OPEC countries in 2016. You see concentration in the Middle East, but also there's Indonesia, Nigeria, Venezuela, Ecuador, and those 14 countries accounted for 43% of the world's oil production. So again, if they could get together and reduce the oil supply coming from their countries, that would have an impact on price. But it was a big task. OPEC countries had not agreed on a coordinated oil output reduction since 2008. You can see the United States not a member of OPEC, and so they could do what they wanted independently of any OPEC agreement. But if the countries could get together on stabilizing prices, that would be a positive event for Venezuela's economy. So what Venezuela did, what Maduro did, was to lobby OPEC member countries throughout 2016. Venezuela's oil minister, Del Pino, toured OPEC member countries lobbying for action to prop up prices. He was trying to persuade them that it was in everyone's best interest to cut supply and try to get prices to go to rise as a result. Mohamed Barkindo was Nigeria's delegate to OPEC, and he was named OPEC's Secretary General in August of 2016. And OPEC scheduled a meeting in November of 2016 in Vienna, where the topic was going to be Was there going to be collective action on a volume, oil production volume reduction in order to stabilize prices at a higher level? Maduro made a lightning visit in just before the meeting in October. He visited Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar personally to lobby for this price stabilization effort. And the OPEC meeting in November of 2016 was a success from that point of view. OPEC member countries agreed to reduce oil production by 1.2 million barrels a day. They hadn't reached agreement like this since 2008. And you can see Minister Del Pino celebrating there, saying and giving credit to President Maduro for never giving up in his effort to defend oil prices. And following the cutback in OPEC production of that 1.2 million barrels a day, oil prices increased by about 20% in 2017. You can see them going from $40 a barrel basically to $50 a barrel, going up, gaining some income from Venezuela, for Venezuela, due to a higher price for oil, and that had been Maduro's goal. So the Secretary General Barkindo from Nigeria made a trip to Caracas, Venezuela, in January of 2017, where he profusely thanked Maduro for what he had done. I come here to pay tribute to you. Thank you for everything you did for us by achieving that agreement. You took it upon yourself, the task of achieving market stability, and you did it. It's something OPEC hadn't done since 2008, and Maduro essentially made it happen because oil sales and income was so important to Venezuela. It was something he took on himself to gain some income back for his country. Now, the Venezuela Reader has a blog, and there are posts on the blog that go over this issue and explain the importance of what Maduro did in 2016. So all the references that were used to put this talk together are outlined in that blog post.